welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video I'm going to be talking about self-publishing my own book and the tools that I used, the various apps and things that I used to help me do this. So I do apologise to those of you that have come along looking for a painting or drawing tutorial. This is something slightly different to the norm. So I've just completed my first book. It was quite a project, something I've been wanting to do for a while, and lockdown gave me the time to do it. And now I'm a little bit apprehensive about going to sell it, to be quite honest with you. But I've really enjoyed doing it. And as much as I've enjoyed writing it, I've also enjoyed the editing and the formatting and the whole process of doing the printing, etc. So I wanted to talk you through it really because when I was looking for videos like this about how to do self-publishing, I did find that a lot of them were kind of geared towards America and the publishers there. That weren't perhaps available here in the UK. So I wanted to do this for those of you that were here in the UK, but some of it will be relevant for everybody as well. So before I talk through all that, I just want to show you the book itself. So it's called Colliding Contrasts, and it's a collection of poems and landscapes that I've done over the last 12 months. So at the beginning of the first lockdown, I started writing a little bit more poetry and decided that it would be nice to put these together with my landscape painting. So I've done 25 paintings over that time, between last summer and this summer, during lockdowns, etc. And I've done a poem to go with each one. So you'll see I've got a poem and an image on each page. So laid out quite simply, and you'll see that I've used a square format. And the square format was really because I've got both landscape and portrait images, so it fit for both of those. So, and I've also left lots of nice white paper, put some space around those words and makes a nice crisp look to it. So there were two things I was really wanting out of my book. One was the cost, when I was looking for publishers. One was the cost and the other was the quality. I wanted to have a nice feel and a nice quality and a good quality of colour and print, and for it to feel heavy and substantial, although it's only quite a small book. I'm just going to see how many pages it's got. It's got 68 pages. I wanted it to feel substantial and feel good quality without the cost skyrocketing. So that's why we've got a paperback rather than a hardback, because a hardback was going to be substantially more. So it was all completely new to me. So I had a few looks at videos and things online, a little bit of advice, and then I went and spoke to a local printer and got a price for them. And I nearly fell off my chair because it was absolutely astronomical. Now, when you're selling your first book, you've no idea how many you're going to sell. I've still no idea how many I'm going to sell. I've just released this for pre-orders, so you can pre-order it now, and I will link it down below. And I'm going to be selling it in local shops, on my website, etc. towards the end of August. So like I said, that price was completely out of my range. It wasn't what I was imagining at all. I was imagining in the hundreds and they were talking in the thousands, and it wasn't something that I wanted to invest that kind of money in when I really don't know how many I'm going to be able to sell. So then I started looking for printers online for more print on demand, where I would be doing my own editing, etc. And I came across Inky Little Fingers, and I will link those down below. They're also credited in the back of the book here. And they were great, and the reason that I settled on them was because I went on Trustpilot and they got really, really good reviews on Trustpilot. And as soon as I expressed an interest, asked for a quote, asked any question at all, immediately they telephoned me up and had a chat. I talked to the same person all the time. It wasn't like usual online when people are emailing you and then you get somebody else emailing you, etc. I had a point of contact. And they were very, very easy to deal with. Every question was answered within the hour. There was no waiting for days on end for them to get back to you. So they were really, really good customer service. That was, and you'll see that on the Trustpilot reviews for Inky Little Fingers. The customer service was brilliant, and the quality of the book is also, I really like it. It feels nice. It's good quality. The colours have come out well compared to my prints. I've got my prints there in the other room, and you know, the prints, the colours are just the same, they're fantastic. So I was really, really pleased with that. And if you compare that to the prices of things like Lulu, which was another one I looked at because a lot of videos come up with talking about Lulu and other ones from America, etc. Again, the costs were much less. And your cost is really going to depend on the size of your book, and the papers that you choose, so the thickness of your cover, the thickness of the paper inside, whether it's black and white or colour. Obviously with mine it's pretty much half and half, some just black and white, some colour, so that brought the price down compared to it being all colour. So all those things bring your price down or up, and the number of pages, etc. So I can't really tell you a price because they will do a quote for you depending on how many pages and the sizes, etc. So the main thing to begin with, obviously, is that you're going to need to write your book. So what I'm talking about really is the process once you've written your book. So I'm not here to talk about writing books today. That's your thing, that's an individual thing, but don't think about going to print or editing or anything like that I'm talking about today until you've got your content finished. If it's just an idea, get on with writing your book. You know, don't spend your time watching videos like this if you've not even got to that stage yet. Get on and get your ideas down on paper if that's what you really want to do. So I've talked about the publisher, but of course all they've been really done is printing my book. Everything else I've had to do myself because to bring that cost down. So you'll find a lot of these videos people telling you to pay for an editor. You must pay for an editor to make it look professional, etc. Now I sent my book off to someone to review, to have a look at, somebody local who's very experienced, and they had no idea that I'd done all that myself, and they never mentioned the fact that the layout looked like it was done by an amateur. They said it was all very nicely laid out, so it just shows you can do your own editing. And I think the reason you can do your own editing so easily nowadays is because we've got so many tools to help us. So I used Canva to do all of this. Those of you that are regulars to my channel will know I use Canva quite a bit for other things. I use it for my YouTube thumbnails if you want to have a look at those. And I've always used the free version, but I decided when I was doing this to upgrade and use the paid for version. And if you can afford it, I really would recommend the paid for version of Canva. I mean, you can cancel it at any time anyway, so that's not a problem. It's about £10 a month or something like that. But it really is useful. I've been using it for social media and all sorts of other things other than the book. I've been using it for lots and lots of things. It's so easy to use, and now you can upload your social media straight from Canva, so you just need your phone and you can put something straight onto Instagram, Twitter, whatever. So that's an aside, but I really would recommend the professional version of Canva. And while I'm thinking about that, I am not being sponsored for any of this video. Inky Little Fingers don't know I'm doing it, nor does Canva. It's just my own personal opinions on these apps and things that I've used that I wanted to share with you. So I'm not getting anything for doing this. It's a completely impartial review of Inky Little Fingers and the others that I'm going to mention. So what I've done in the back, I've got acknowledgements, and I have put in there Canva, what 3 words. So what 3 words, I'm sure you've seen the adverts. Everywhere in the world is mapped out into, I think it's square meters, and each square meter is given 3 words to identify it. So it's to help you not get lost, basically. So each of my paintings has been titled with the what 3 words location of where I was sitting when I did the sketches. So that's the reason for putting those in the acknowledgements. The next in the acknowledgements is the Ordnance Survey app, because that's something that I use when I go walking all the time, and it is very handy. And then of course Inky Little Fingers. But one more I would like to touch on is Grammarly. So when it comes to editing your book, I think Grammarly is excellent. Now with this one I have only used the free version, I've not upgraded it. I don't really like paying for things if I can get away with not paying for them. So I really like the free version of Grammarly, and I would suggest you get it on your computer if you're at all unsure about spellings and punctuation, etc. I'm not too bad with punctuation, and I'm not too bad with vocabulary, etc. But I'm not great with spelling. I'm terrible with spelling, in fact. Always have been. So I found Grammarly to be really good. And the thing is, once you put it on your computer to use it from a book, and it works in Canva. So if you're editing anything in Canva, Grammarly will work in Canva, which is excellent. It also works for all sorts of other apps on your computer. So when you're sending emails, you know that they're professional looking, etc. So that is something I would really recommend. So to recap, really, to do things in order is to get your book completely finished first, and then if you can't afford to pay for an editor, or you haven't got a friend who's good at things like that, use Grammarly and edit it yourself. and I read and reread, and then I left it for a couple of days because your eyes get tired, your brain gets tired, and sometimes when you've reread your own work all the time you miss little things. So sleep on it for a day or two, then reread it, put it all together and then read it again, and just keep editing it over and over again. Give it to a family member to read as well, to see if they can spot any errors. And obviously with your spelling, with Grammarly, there can be two words that spelt the same, mean different things, or two similar words. So you've got to be sort of almost take one word at a time when you're editing it yourself, or one line at a time. Is this line right? And then go on to the next one. It's very time consuming, but it will obviously save you money. But just be very, very careful about it, because it's not going to look professional if you've got mistakes when you're finished. So firstly, get whoever your publisher is, get the sizes right, then go into Canva and you can put your sizes in for your layouts and your margins, and then put it all in there, and you can keep saving it onto your own computer. Obviously it's saved on Canva, but I like to back everything up 2 or 3 times. I hate the idea of putting all that work in and then losing it, so I back it up on my computer, and I also save it on a flash drive as well. So do all that, double and triple check it before you even think of sending it off to the printers. And then once it goes off to the printers, they will, I think they've probably got a computerised system that automatically checks that it's all within the margins and all that kind of thing. But they're not going to be checking all your content for you. They're not going to check that you've missed a line out and things like that, because they haven't written the book, you have. That's an editor's job. So you need to edit it yourself and have that done. So the other thing is they will give you an estimate for the size, because this is printed as one. So your size for your cover is this plus your spine here and this. So that's probably the most technically bit of it. So what I'd done was I'd done the 2 covers, and then I asked them I think I paid them an extra tenner or something to put that together for me with the spine, because I'd already done it on Canva and I didn't want to do it again. So that's about it for that. So get it uploaded, and then they'll send you a proof. I think it's worth paying for a proof like this that you've got in your hand, rather than just the PDF proof. I did keep it as a PDF on my tablet, and then I could just, like I say, keep editing it, keep seeing if anything was jumping out at me that was wrong, etc. But it's good to have a proof like this before you go ahead and get the whole thing printed. So now I suppose the main thing for us to do is to sell it, and I really can't help you with that at the moment. I will come back perhaps and do another video to tell you how successful I've been with selling it. At the moment, like I said, I'm doing pre-orders, so I've just put adverts, my own little adverts on all my social media. Again, I don't really pay for adverts on social media because they're very hit and miss. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. They don't tend to necessarily get your target audience. So perhaps look for Facebook sites and things of people with similar interests to yourself and to what might be in your book, and share it with them, and hopefully I'll sell it locally through art fairs, etc. So I'll perhaps come back at a different date and let you know how I've gone on with selling it. But let me know what you think about that. If you've got any tips for me on how best to publicise it, then let me know. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I've forgotten to tell you. Now this is about my 4th go at this video, I have to say. The first 3 times I kept waffling off at tangents, and so I decided to do it again, and then I didn't press play on the camera. I seem to be having one of those days. I think the main thing to say really is do your research on any company that you're using. Like I say, I chose Inky Little Fingers because of the Trustpilot reviews, and I think that's the way to go. Research everybody that you're going to be using. Use the free tools that you can. Certainly use Grammarly, certainly use Canva if you want to make it look nice and professional. And I can't recommend Inky Little Fingers highly enough. Just brilliant all the way through. I just looked back through my video and there was one little thing I've missed out, so I'm going to pop it in here in this section that I didn't tell you about, was the ISBN. You will need an ISBN number for your book, and you have to buy that separately, and I bought it through the people recommended by Inky Little Fingers, so if you go on their website it will explain that to you. But one thing you must remember is that you need to leave this space on your back cover. The ISBN is also printed inside. But you need to buy that first before it goes off to print, because obviously they need to put this on. So leave a space here for them to put the barcode and the ISBN number on, and I think that costs £80 some, £90, something around there, and that's a unique identifier for your book. So I just wanted to jump in there and tell you about that, because I'd completely missed that out. If you've got any questions for me or any tips that you might like to give me, please do put those down in the comments below. I do read them and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.